lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of the people who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach is as Flat as the Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin', Journalism, Kirsten Smith, Life is Short, Matt, Michael, Page Love, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Renee, Sam Hine, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker, and Tom Herkins. Thank you very much to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. And we do have, at least I think we have, 10th Man in the Google Plus Hangout. How are you doing, 10th Man? Can you hear me?
I sure can. Good morning, everyone.
Hello. Good to have you. We do have a couple of people in Discord as well. See if I can raise the mic on there. Just give me a couple of moments.
Yeah, there's a funny echo bouncing sound on your sound for some reason.
Funny echo?
Well, it's almost like you're in a hallway.
Oh, my mic's just, it's just too far away. Yeah, I'll sort that out in a minute. There's always something.
All right, no problem. Hey, I was going to ask you a question. Tell me when it's good.
Feel free.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
It's an honor.
Feel free, 10th Man, go ahead.
So,
You've got a connection issue all of a sudden.
yeah, you came in broken up there on your audio, Nathan.
I think it's you actually, it's at your end, but nevertheless, what was your question?
Is it my end?
I think so,
All
yeah.
right. Well, let me unplug and plug here my mic.
Well, if we're fiddling with microphones, then might as well do that for mine.
All right, how's that?
Breaker. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so my question is, Earth-based Coriolis, and if we reference it to the lack of stellar parallax. You know where I'm going with it?
No.
Well, the apparent shift of nearby stars versus the stars that should be further back. Again, it's the word apparent. So if the whole Earth is supposed to be orbiting, and 6 months from now, we're supposed to be on the other side of the sun, so to speak, and there's a absence of stellar parallax. So the apparent deviation, I'm just trying to see if there's a way of seeing that both of them.
You're breaking up again, but I think I've got the gist of the question. Can you somehow link the lack of parallax? And I don't know if you heard their arguments for precession, but maybe we won't get into those, but whether or not that's linkable to Coriolis deviation and the apparent effect of things drifting away from you as you rotate underneath them. Not all apparent effects are Coriolis effect.
Hello. You got some weird flange going on, Nathan, on your mic, as if you've got 3 programs open at once or something.
Is that better?
Yep. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, well, that's what the pre-show's for. A weird sounding me on the intro. At least the live show will be better. Thank you, Dawn.
Yeah, check.
Yeah, we hear you. I think that's what you were driving at in terms of me sounding weird. It wasn't just because the mic was miles away. Something got cocked up on the settings.
Yeah, you sound wonderful now.
Much better.
So back to the linkage
Leakage.
of the lack of stellar parallax.
I think you're going to get to. Well, maybe you will. I don't know. I don't know how to link that to Coriolis deviation. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, they're saying that the Earth is spinning, rotating, and if it was, then there would be Earth-based Coriolis. But since there is no Earth-based Coriolis, the Earth is not rotating. They're saying, now I'm shifting. They're saying we're orbiting, and we're going to be on the other side of the sun, and yet we can't tell by the stars because there's no stellar parallax.
I see. They're all connected in that regard. Yes. So Quantum Eraser says if the Earth doesn't spin, flat Earth wins. His little Johnny Cochran bit. Well, that's very true because a lot of the model falls apart if you don't have an axial rotation.
Everything falls apart if you don't have an axial rotation.
Right.
I mean, you might as well just have one housekeeping question at the end of that.
I don't know. Everyone's really keen to add more housekeeping questions, and it's like most of the time when someone asks to add something to the housekeeping, it's like, well, that's covered in, for this example, axial rotation, right?
Well, I think axial rotation takes care of the curvature. Obviously, you need gravity to be a ball and for the oceans to stick to the Earth. So it takes care of gravity. It takes care of the iron molten core. It takes care of the radius question. What's left? The distance to the sun and gas pressure.
Yeah, that's pretty succinctly summed up there. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. They need Coriolis.
They sure do. That's why they're dying to save it the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of flapping going on. It's quite funny.
No, I'm glad that it was the main topic for the last 2 weeks, and I'm glad that we got them on recordings going into all kinds of nonsense. It is so simple. If the Earth spins underneath, then it spins underneath everything that's free flying. This nonsense about bullets and Foucault pendulums and footballs, but not anything else like an airplane or a helicopter that has more hang time, which would prove it even more by having more hang time. So the very thing that they want, more hang time to prove the Earth is spinning, they want to discount as excuse. They want to go something fast and quick. That's it. It's spinning. We said it. That's it. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's a big old mess for them.
Well, it's their mess.
Not our problem.
Exactly. I think that the star trails and the photography that it takes to capture star trails is a valid argument.
Why? What are you trying to prove?
Well, you got to have a stable tripod. You can't have the Earth moving at the same time the stars turning in the circular motion that they do, which the photograph catches, of course. Because if the Earth is spinning at the same time and the tripod's on the Earth and the stars are away from the Earth and they're in the circular motion and the Earth is going west to east, you got to have a sideways trail as well. But we don't see the sideways trail. We just see the circular trail, which means only the stars are moving.
Say so. I don't know. I don't know what they are. So,
well, what I'm saying is when we look up in the sky, the stars are the same stars each year, and they have a function. Months, seasons, and years, they show up differently, but they're always the same stars. And if the Earth was turning, then the time-lapse photography would capture the trails of the Earth west to east always in the picture, especially if you leave it out for 8 hours or 10 hours for it to do every 30 seconds a shot. And every time I talk to a photographer about taking star trails, nice picture of star trails, I say you got to have a good tripod, it's got to be stationary, And if you hit it, you're going to screw everything up. Okay. So don't touch it. Just make sure it's stable. And then when you look at the pictures, the tree, the mountain in the foreground, as you look up to the star trails themselves, are still and focused. Well, that can't be. If the Earth is moving west to east, it would catch that as well.
Side, how you doing? Check. Earth to flat side.
Oh, hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
Let me just go with this more reception. I think I got very bad reception.
Tired, looking for better reception. Okie dokie. You hear Arwen's exciting news, either of you two?
I heard he got a P900.
Did.
Nice.
Well, he will.
Nice.
Presumably at the end of this month when we all go to Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
Conference there. Got to book my tickets, actually. Something I've been putting off for ages. Need to do that before I run out of time.
Excuse me, what conference is this in Amsterdam?
Flat Earth Conference.
Do tell.
Nothing else to
Hello,
tell.
is this
Weekend of the 27th, Amsterdam. Be here or be sphere.
Is it 2 day? You're going to broadcast live, or how's it going to be shown?
I don't know what it's nothing to do with me. I'm just going as a guest, so I can't.
Okay.
That's why I'm being a bit cagey and vague. Originally, I think there was planned to be a debate there, but no one took the offer up. So
I think people are too scared to debate you, Nathan.
maybe the last time that there was a heated debate was a newbie who'd presumably come into the Discord server and heard us talking about Back to the Future and thought, God, these guys are idiots.
Well, they don't understand that you're not going to debate within a fallacy, and they always have a fallacy. So it's not going far.
About 5 minutes and we'll go live.
Then produce no model.
No, we don't seem to get models out of them. Even if we did, we don't live on a model.
Took 45
Yep.
minutes for nothing.
Been how long?
I think it was around 45 minutes just on that one topic, that one little point.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean with the one guy. Yeah, about that.
Not gonna lie though, I was loving it.
Problem is that I'm quite hard on these people, and Anthony's always saying you don't need to be so hard on the newbies. And the problem is they don't appreciate that they're taking the position and stance that they do because they're brainwashed into the arrogant position that they're automatically correct. So when they get proven wrong, it's a bit of a shock. You know, when I listen back and when the guy's like, my primal instincts have kicked in, it's like, because this is a fight or flight situation for that guy now. He doesn't know what the fuck to do, basically. He's like, oh my God, deer in the headlights. Well, that's because his position when he came in is one with, you know, brush dust the dust off your shoulder and, yeah, man, I'm moseying on into town and here I am. Gonna kick your ass. That's what his attitude is when he gets in. Because he thinks, well, I've got pictures. I've got a model.
It's funny, he came in guns blazing too, and then that settled down real quick.
Exactly. But that's my point, was that isn't necessarily his fault as an individual. He as an individual has been brainwashed into believing that position, and his arrogance has just taken over. But that's almost true for everybody. Most people who come here who think they're on a ball, at least initially, like he was, think they're in the winning position automatically. So that, of course, it doesn't matter what their level of intelligence is, they automatically think they're right regardless.
I would have liked if Anthony got their numbers and then after a month or so go back to them and see if they've changed.
What numbers?
I think he's talking about the street interview with
The
the two
street
young
interview,
college
yeah.
students.
Still don't know what you mean numbers, as in viewing figures.
No, cell phone number. Contact details.
You guys were talking about somebody else. Flatsoid is talking about somebody else.
I'm
It's
completely
not the
lost.
same.
You'll have to fill us in.
Oh,
fill
sorry.
Fill in the
I thought
blanks.
you're talking
tenth man.
about. I thought you're talking about Anthony in the street interview. The guy in that other.
I mean, no, but yeah.
No.
Few minutes. We'll go live. Oh, somebody's just started drilling out my window. Son of a bitch.
Last week it was the chainsaw.
Yeah. Now it's a drill.
Tomorrow it'll be a hammer.
Fortunately, it's not loud enough to set off the gate, so it's only you can only hear it when I'm talking, and as I'm talking, it might not go. It might go unnoticed.
Just a question: when do we ever use a model for anything when we have the real thing right in front of us?
Are you building a house, perhaps? Blueprints?
Okay, but the coordinates always work, right? They match.
Maybe I missed part of that question.
No, I said they all want to say they want to make a model, and their model, of course, is a sphere model, and yet we live on the Earth, and none of their coordinates work for a sphere.
Hey,
Yeah,
Arwin.
it won't.
Hey, Arwin, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Good morning,
Yes, I
Arwin.
can hear you.
Good to have you.
Hello.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, Flatsoid and 10th Man in G+. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
morning. Good morning to all.
Hello, hello, hello. We're also joined by Earth-Shaped Investigator Dawn and a couple of other people whose names aren't legible to me. Good to have you all in Discord as well. Hello.
Hello.
Usual enthusiastic replies
Hello,
from... Hello. Hello, Discord server. Any signs of Earth curvature?
No. Definitely
Not in South Africa.
Not in California.
Not in the
Oh, the
Netherlands.
sun went down. The sun went down last night again. So for me, that was a sign of Earth curvature.
Sun
A
went away,
sign.
Don. Went away, Don.
Yeah, as you say, it went away, but for me, it went down behind Earth.
Just out of
Yeah,
interest,
it's a
Ron,
belief.
have you actually seen any of Dirth's videos where he does sunsets from altitude? Have you ever seen those?
I saw one when he zoomed in, kind of came back almost.
Right, but it just fades out though, doesn't it? It doesn't disappear. It doesn't go down, as you put it.
Yeah, I think he did some sort of camera trickery, like sadly maybe,
Hey then,
like a lie,
moving on.
a psyop lie.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's probably all camera trickery. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth post variety?
Well,
Nope.
yeah, the sun. I'm going to use the same thing. The sun went down last night, so that's a sign for me of axial rotation.
Nope, sitting still.
We would have Earth-based Coriolis if that was the case, and we don't.
Well, they report we do. Lots of people report we do.
What do
Yeah,
you
well,
see,
We
that's-
talk
Don?
about it for
What
like
do you-
2 months non-stop. So something obviously happens, doesn't it, for us to talk about it all that time?
So, Don, what do you see versus what you read in reports?
What about Coriolis?
He's not using
didn't make that
Coriolis. He's
up.
using the sun going down. He's using the not actual position of the sun. Like that proves
Well,
anything.
what I see on my day today does fit the reports that I read
What,
about what happens.
Apparent position of the sun going down, according to you.
Yeah, I'll give you a parent if you want.
Yeah,
I don't think
the
it's
apparent position of the
exactly
sun
where I see it.
going behind the apparent position of the horizon from your position. That proves absolutely nothing.
Well, to me, that's a sign of actual rotation and Earth.
Oh, it's a sign. No, it's a not actual horizon and a not actual sun.
That's what you asked for. Is there any signs of? So that for me, that is a sign of both
Yeah.
things.
Well, we were
okay.
not talking about Mystic Mag signs.
Sure, I understand for you they're signs, but they're not because the horizons are not actual position and the sun is a not actual position. Hey, Jose.
That just adds a little bit of nuance. It doesn't mean they're like totally made up and a delusion.
It does. It means they're not actual, but you just keep hand waving it and we're going around in circles with you saying that that's a sign and me pointing out why it isn't. And
I'm not going to give you the word actual. I'll give you apparent,
It's
but not
optical.
the
though.
word
apparent.
not
Yeah,
actual.
not actual.
But it's still
Apparent.
actual.
Yeah, apparent.
They
not
are
actual.
still actual.
Yeah,
It's
not actual.
optical.
Meaningless. Doesn't prove
Apparent,
anything. The
but
sun's
still
not going
actual.
behind a not actual position. It doesn't mean anything, Dawn, but you just keep asserting that it does.
It's just a bit of nuance involved because of atmosphere.
Yeah, you said that as well. We heard a bit of nuance. Nuance this sunshine. It's a not actual position you're claiming it goes behind. That's not possible. It's a not actual sun that you're claiming goes behind that not actual position. Again, meaningless.
Did you just claim the sun's not actual?
Not actual position of the sun going behind the not actual position of the horizon.
Position.
Dawn. Yes.
Yeah. Most people on Earth believe it isn't. Like
I
still
care
actual.
what you believe. This isn't about beliefs. I've crapped all over
Again,
it. Not
belief.
actual position. Not actual position of the sun. Not actual position where the sky meets the ground. And you claiming that something goes behind it. Meaningless drivel.
feel like-
Doesn't prove anything.
Do you feel like you're debunking the Earth's beliefs just
No,
by saying
debunking your
it's not
beliefs,
actual?
which you won't shut up about.
No, you're not. You're not. You're just saying.
No,
it's
you're just questioning whether or not I think I've debunked you. Yes, I have debunked you. Your crap assertion comes with the not actual position of the sun moving behind the not actual position of the horizon. That is the end of your assertion. Don't babble on about whether or not I believe I've smashed your beliefs. I have.
in your mind.
Not in my mind, on air, for a live audience.
We can vote if you want.
Because I don't agree that it's,
I don't give a shit. It's not agree, disagree. It is a not actual position of the horizon. It is a not actual position of the sun. I don't give a crap if you agree. Keep your belief. That's all it is.
okay. You keep your belief. That's
My belief that it's a not actual position of the sun? No, that's not a belief.
that belief. Yeah.
No, not a belief. You just don't understand the difference between your belief and me crapping on it.
No.
Yeah, me crapping on it. Not actual position of the sun, moving behind the not actual position of the horizon, proves dick.
Pitching again.
Can we move on? Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope. What is gravity?
Yeah. Yeah. The phenomenon of gravity. Obviously, we haven't got scientific proof of the cause, but we have scientific
is the
proof of the
phenomenon?
phenomenon of happening.
Good question, Arwin.
What is the phenomena?
The phenomena is stuff being
No,
attracted down
not
to
a
Earth.
phenomena, the phenomena of gravity. That you
Yeah,
just
the
said.
phenomena, mass appearing to attract mass.
No, that's 100 years out of date.
Where do we see
No,
that,
it's
Don?
not. That is
Yeah, it doesn't
phenomenal.
matter
We
where
still
he
witness.
thinks he sees it. It's 100 years out of date. It's been replaced by Einsteinian bending of a conceptual medium known as
No, we don't
space-time,
witness-
which he'll now talk through while I correct him. Of course, Dawn is using rhetoric that is 100 years plus out of date. Mass doesn't attract
don't-
mass. That's not gravity. Bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time. You are wrong.
You're not listening.
Yeah, you're wrong. It's not mass attracting mass. You are wrong. That's 100 years out of date.
Right.
I told him.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you, Owen?
Right, but just the guys are also right. What you are assuming is gravity and the phenomena for that. It's basically your folk belief because the official body of science does not support that. Just so you know.
Right. The official narrative is the bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time, giving rise to a non-force, force that you can think of as a force but isn't actually a force, called gravity. That's what it is, according to the current bullshit narrative.
To make mass attract
Why are you
mass.
talking through everything I say, Dawn?
You'd finished.
No, I'll decide when I'm finished. It's not I'm finished because you've decided to start talking through me, because it's the only tactic Globeheads have here. We smash your shit and you talk through it. That's the only tactic you have.
You shout semantics and
No, not semantics. It's not semantics when I say apparent position of the horizon. That's a fact.
yeah.
Not semantics, a fact. You don't know the
It is
difference.
semantics.
What's semantics mean,
gravity-
Dawn?
It's words.
What does
Is
semantics
gravity a
mean?
concept?
The explanation of semantics is you changing the subject to Einstein's theory of how mass appears to attract mass,
That's not semantics.
It's not semantics.
Huh?
of mass appearing
You don't
to
know what
attract
semantics
mass.
are.
My God.
Google
Yes,
it now.
I do.
Google
Change
it.
the subject. With
No, you said that semantics were changing of the subject from Newtonian bullshit from 100 years plus ago to Einsteinian. That's not semantics. I'm asking you to define
yes,
semantics.
It is semantic. You use
No, not the subject matter. The word. What does semantics mean, Dawn?
gravity. This is semantics,
Just talking
dude.
through
I'm not
me.
dumb.
I'm not going to continue to have a conversation where every time I try and conclude a sentence, you start talking, Dawn. That's your last chance. Do it again. You're just going to be removed from the conversation. I'd like you to define the word semantics, please, Dawn.
I'm not going to Google
This
it.
is
What-
for
you're-
your
you're
own benefit,
disputing-
Don.
I haven't finished talking. You're disputing the terms and meanings of what gravity is, of the theories. That is semantics.
Yeah, now we want you to define that word.
defining it. That's not semantics.
Yeah, your defense is the word semantics.
Your
And we want to know
behaviour
what
with
that
words and language.
There you go again. You're talking while I'm talking, Dawn.
I hadn't finished, Nathan.
What, you've said the same shit 3 times. It's semantics. That's your defense. We're asking what the word means, and you won't tell us. You just tell us again that it's semantics, our argument. What does semantics mean, Dawn?
It's when you confuse people with the meanings and terms of words by switching them about.
Incorrect. Semantics means words and their meanings. Defining thereof would be the Socratic method. Semantics is words and their meanings. So we are discussing words and their meanings. In this instance, the semantics of gravity.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah, semantics means words and their meanings. And you're saying, oh, all that means is words and their meanings. Oh, well, that's not important. Let's just make them up and not define them. Because who gives a crap about the semantics? What the fucking words mean that you're using?
You confusing people about.
No, you're using the word semantics, meaning words and their meanings, as a defense. Oh, you saying it's not it is Einsteinian rather than Newtonian. It's just words and their meanings. That's your defense. Just words and their meanings. Yeah, I'm smashing you with words and their meanings.
When asked about the phenomenon of gravity we witness.
Right,
You
and then I
used a
responded
semantic
to that
argument
by
to
sharing with
divert-
you that it is your personal folk belief because it's not supported by the body of science.
It is,
Just
Owen.
so you know.
Why do you believe
How do I
in the
know?
conceptual
I've worked in the body of
midway?
science, and I've
One
heard people
at a
talk
time.
about it for 2 years.
Don, I just posted.
Hold on, 10th man. Just Arwen and Dawn.
Yep,
So-
we've been talking about it for 2 years. We've been talking about every possible angle to gravity and the history of it, how it was,
Yep.
everything. Yeah, okay, that doesn't make it a viable thing. Because
It is a viable thing. I'm just talking about the phenomenon.
Newton himself did not claim a hypothesis for gravity. Okay, officially, you can still find that back if you're gonna look for it, for that quote.
Dude, you can't debunk gravity. You can't.
And
it
beside that,
happens. We've
the
got a name
official
for it. We're
narrative.
looking
Hold on,
into the
Darwin.
cause.
Hold on a second, Darwin. Sorry, Dawn. Go on then. What was your interruption? Let's see how worthwhile that complete rumpusing was. Hold on, Arwin.
You and Arwen and none of the flat earthers can debunk gravity. It's a thing that happens. It's a phenomenon. We've got a word for it. We're trying to work out the cause. There's nothing you can do about that.
So your interruption. So your interruption of Arwin was to say you can't debunk this while he's in the middle of debunking it. So essentially, what you're doing is preventing his debunking reaching the air by telling the audience he can't debunk it.
Yes, I'm just reminding everybody.
Why don't you shut your fucking mouth, Dawn? That's what you can do. He's talking. Now shut your mouth. This is your last warning.
Okay, Dawn, please. I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just trying to enlighten you that you are now going as a separatist heliocentrist by your own belief that gravity is Newtonian and that is a legitimate part of the globe model. That is what you are now presuming. And with that, you are separated from the official narrative. So you are now dealing in your own personal beliefs as to the model of the globe Earth. I'm just telling you.
That's not what I'm doing. I understand some of Newtonian mechanics are still used. Einstein is the theory of how it happens.
No, it's not a theory. It's bullshit made-up narrative. It's not a theory. It's not a scientific theory. We've asked for scientific evidence of gravity, and you've just told us that Einstein's got a theory. No, he hasn't.
I told you I had scientific evidence of the phenomenon of gravity, not the cause. I told you this at the beginning.
Scientific evidence.
Let
me get it straight. You don't need scientific evidence of a phenomena. That's nonsense. Scientific evidence would be a validated cause of the phenomena.
No, we can have scientific evidence of a phenomena.
You can't have scientific evidence of a phenomena. It's just a phenomena, something happening. That doesn't require any scientific validation. I can just witness any phenomena ever, and it doesn't need any scientific validation whatsoever. Scientific evidence would be a validated cause of the phenomena, validated by systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis that had an assumed cause of the effect being the phenomena that you don't need scientific validation for. You need to validate the cause of the phenomena. That would be scientific evidence, not a phenomena.
You're doing semantics again. Gravity has...
What, words and their meanings? Yeah, the word phenomena would be half a hypothesis, the dependent variable in the hypothesis. It's not scientific evidence to have a phenomena. That doesn't even factor into scientific evidence. It's merely the dependent variable that you're going to try and validate the cause of. It's not scientific evidence to have a phenomena.
Why don't you put the cause of gravity in your question when you ask it instead?
The cause isn't established, you stupid dick. That's why you don't have scientific evidence. That's what I've just explained, literally 20 seconds ago. To have scientific evidence is to have the cause established by means of systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis. A hypothesis being the thing that establishes your presumed cause of the effect being the phenomena.
This is all semantic.
Just words and their meanings, smashing my stupid shit that I'm asserting. Yeah, we're demolishing you with words and their meanings. That's correct. Semantics, yes.
No, I'm using it in the context as meaningless semantic.
Meaningless semantics that's a contradiction in terms. Meaningless words and their meanings. Meaningless words and their meanings is a contradiction in terms. You're a complete retard, Dawn.
You're confusing people with semantics. That's what you're doing.
Semantics means their meanings. And you're saying the meaningless meanings of words. That's what you're saying. The meaningless meanings. It's a contradiction in terms.
You're doing it again.
What, making you look stupid?
May I interject? Just take 2 minutes. Tom. Okay, Tom. Yeah. Look, if you can't agree upon the meaning of words, then communication has no meaning. If you can't agree upon what you're talking about, then people will just start spouting words against one another, and they will potentially totally misunderstand one another and not progress anything,
Absolutely
any
spot on.
understanding.
Correct. It's called the Socratic method.
Oh, and tell that to Nathan Oakley.
Tell what?
What
We need to agree on terms, words and their meanings. We need to agree on the semantics.
Tell that to Nathan.
You don't like
Oakley, who
semantics,
lies
don't
about
you?
the
Be
meaning of
arguing
words
semantics
every
for the
day.
past 10 minutes, brother. Like, for real, you see
Good
this
point,
shit?
Jose. Exactly, Jose. Well said. You've been arguing semantics for the last 10 minutes, Dawn.
It's hilarious.
Well, you do, Nathan. That's why I come here, to bring it up and tell people that this is nothing but semantics.
Just nothing but words and their meanings. Wow, great argument.
Semantic
Excellent
is a
defense.
dirty word. Weird.
Look, we can firmly establish, given that Dawn has already admitted they don't have a cause for
People
gravity,
with them.
that they don't have scientific evidence, which is what we're asking for in this question. So let's move
Of
on.
the cause of gravity. But you didn't say cause, did you? You just said gravity.
I said the scientific evidence of gravity. Now he's just managed to demonstrate that he hasn't got the vaguest clue what that means either. He doesn't know what scientific evidence is, although we had already established that, given that he thought having a phenomena gave him scientific evidence of his gravity, and declaring that he doesn't know the cause, because that bit sunk in when George Musa said it, presumably, Dawn.
What? Fuck off.
That you don't have a cause.
George. What you should have said was you want to know scientific evidence of the cause of gravity.
Yeah, that is scientific evidence, you stupid dingbat. To establish the cause of the phenomena, not that you have a phenomena. The phenomena is claimed to be the bending of a conceptual medium, not something that happens in actuality, but a conceptual medium bending. So you're never going to show me a phenomena, that's just bullshit. Not that you'd ever comprehend or understand what I've just said. But establishing the cause is scientific evidence.
You didn't ask for a cause, though, did you?
I asked for scientific evidence, that would be an established cause.
No.
Yeah. Let's move on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope. No confirmed measured distance to the sun. Presuppositions, though, based on stellar assumptions.
Can't measure it if it's just apparent, though, can you? So
Can't measure
it's a
what,
meaningless
sorry?
question for you guys.
You're muttering now, Dawn. Just make your claim nice and clear.
You
Share
can't
your
measure the
pain.
distance if it's only an apparent sun, can you, Nathan? So
That's
why
a
would
good
you
point,
ask?
Dawn. That was my point
That's
earlier now,
correct.
wasn't it?
So it's a meaningless trick question again.
Oh, no, they
Yeah.
assert that there's 96 million miles between us and it, Dawn. So, given that it's a meaningless question according to you, why do you think that your side of the argument answers it with a value? I love these stone cold silences.
There is evidence online if you
Oh, suddenly now I've pointed out that your fundy side of the argument does have a value. Suddenly there's evidence. Unbelievable. What a
Nathan, you
complete
just
bonehead.
reminded him that there is official narrative. And that reminded him, like, yeah, there is something online.
Oh, and you're so deluded. You keep projecting.
Oh, shut up, Dawn. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container for all the fundamentalist religious zealots who believe they live on a sphere in a vacuum called outer space?
Nope.
Sorry, what was that last one? Because probably, yeah, there probably is evidence of it.
Excellent.
What was it?
Any evidence that
That's
you can
hilarious,
have
Dan. You're
gas
freaking
pressure without a
crazy.
container?
Oh, yeah, of course. Here on Earth, in your house, outside, open the window. Have a look.
What, so you're saying your fundamentalist religious belief of a violation of the second law of thermodynamics where the sky is a vacuum is evidence that the sky is a vacuum? Circular reasoning, in
What a
other words.
load of preachy bullshit. No, that's semantics, what you just...
It's called circular reasoning. It's not semantics, it's called a logical fallacy. Circular reasoning. You believe the sky is a vacuum, and to prove your belief, you tell me to point at the sky, which you believe is a vacuum.
Nathan, living in a gas pressure system and never finding a container is evidence of being in a gas pressure system with no container.
No, it isn't. That's called circular reasoning, because it's a violation of a natural law. To have pressure, you must press on something. To assert that because you haven't found the thing it's pressing on means that it's not pressing on anything is absolutely ludicrous.
To assert that it has to press on something when you're
Yeah, because it's pressure. Yeah.
really ludicrous.
It's clues in
and
the name.
dishonest.
The clues in the name, Dawn.
You haven't
Pressure?
found it though, have you? So it's
Pressing,
absurd to
pressure?
assume it.
No? Not computing? Not
You haven't found the container, Nathan.
It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't mean that the sky is an endless vacuum, because that would logically compute that the gas that we're breathing could disperse into that vacuum, but isn't.
You haven't found the container you're asserting.
It makes no difference whether or not I found a container. I don't know what the sky is. But you would assert that it's a vacuum. Well, gas is trying to expand in all directions, debunking the notion that it's a vacuum. The second law of thermodynamics and entropy would dictate that if it was a vacuum, the gas would fill the space. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Conspiracy Cats, 2019.
I don't care about your beliefs, Nathan. You have to prove
Not mine. Why'd you say Nathan? Conspiracy Cats, 2019. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
Do you think I give a fuck what Conspiracy Cat said?
Well, I don't care whether or not you like it. That's what he's declaring. It's backing my argument. It's a fact. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
I don't give a fuck what he says.
Well, you're just declaring that the sky is a vacuum. And because you haven't found the container, Nathan, that means the sky is a vacuum. Which pisses in the face of the second law of thermodynamics.
Measure the gradient all the way up into space, dude. It's all online evidence.
A gradient all the way up to space? What's the top of the gradient going to press upon? An endless, never-expanding vacuum?
A gradient up in...
No. What's the gradient pressing on at the top?
Nothing, dude.
Oh, it can't do that. That violates a law of nature called the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy would take hold. Entropy would increase. The gas would fill the space. It doesn't just reach a vacuum and decide to stop. It would expand continuously in all directions and fill the available volume that it has available to it.
No, gravity stops it doing that.
Gravity is the bending of a conceptual medium. There is no scientific evidence of gravity. A conceptual medium bending won't violate a law of nature known as entropy.
It makes mass attract mass.
Mass doesn't
That's
attract
your
mass.
belief.
That's 100 years out of date. It's like we haven't spoken to him. Nothing we say will ever sink in.
No, dude. It's
not, dude.
Right, so
It's 100 years out of date. Mass isn't attracting mass.
Is what is keeping the gas pressure to the ball with the outer space out there, and none of it you have any proof for it. It's a very elaborate belief system based on nothing.
He's saying gravity holds the gas. Quote, George Musa, 2019. Gravity is not a force.
It still makes mass.
No, it doesn't. It's not a force. You saying you know better than astrophysicist monkey George Musa?
You don't need a force, Nathan, for stuff to be attracted to stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, well, how does it do it then? By magic?
By bending space-time.
Bending space-time? That's a conceptual medium. It doesn't do anything. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. Could be interesting to figure out how the bending of time or space would cause somehow directional acceleration locally in some way. I don't even see how that connects. How can the two line up?
Demonstrations of it online, Owen.
It's like comparing oranges to pears.
You can't bend a concept.
It's a theory. It's a theory of.
It's not a scientific theory. Yeah, you want to call it a colloquial Mystic Meg theory. Scientific theories are the result of an established cause through systematic experimentation being put forth potentially with other established causes to produce something called a scientific theory based on empirical results. This is not that. This is the bending of a concept.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Ranty.
Hello, everyone.
Can I just?
I just called in. I just wanted to know how much you're paying Dawn to be this stupid every week.
How much I'm paying him? I'm joking, right? He's really annoying me.
You pay him. You have to pay this guy. You can't just keep coming in and saying the same thing. He like gives you a show every time because you just batter on every time.
Oh, this is his therapy.
Bloody Ranty, if you pay me being a masochist.
I'll become a flat earther if you pay me.
Right.
I'm not a masochist.
But the high energy of a communication level that we provide feels to him almost like people are communicating that actually care. And in his general life, he probably doesn't have that as much.
Right.
Shout out to Don. He's VIP
No, he has-
baller over here.
Nathan has to be paid. I
There you go,
don't
Ranty.
believe that Nathan's not paying him for this.
Paying him for what?
What?
And you deceive
You have
people.
to
This is
pay him
just-
to come in and get battered every week.
Oh,
Nathan
you're
has
just-
kids. You really think he would pay money to Don that he could give to his own kid?
Yeah, you have to.
Oh,
Yeah, he has to pay.
Jesus.
He's like a stooge, isn't he? He's like a stooge. Dawn is just like the stooge that
Ranty.
you batter every show. He's like he can't just come in and be this stupid all the
Right.
time. Surely.
They mute us, don't they?
Oh.
They mute me.
No, Dawn.
You overestimate humanity, Ranty.
It's because we're talking about you. Doesn't mean I've muted you. Why is it everyone
Well,
automatically?
you do
assumes that-
mute me a lot, Nathan. Though when you speak and go on your rants, I'm
What do you
muted.
mean
and
while
I
I'm
sort of have to
talking and you
wait.
talk through me? You mean I have to shut you up because I'm in the middle of a
often
sentence and you've
often
decided to
mute
start
me
talking
after
like you're
talking
doing
through
now?
me. You mute me.
Yeah, listen to what I reply and see if you talk through me.
Good morning, people.
So, hey, chocolate. So, yeah, I'm in the middle of a sentence and suddenly you're talking. Well, I'm going to stop that happening, Dawn. You think you can just continually interrupt me and stop what I've said being heard? You got another thing coming. So, no, I don't let you constantly interrupt me.
You do that to me though. It's just how I
Oh,
end
what?
up speaking to you
I
because you
interrupt
interrupt me.
the guests on my show, do I? To keep control
Yes.
of my show while I run my
No.
show for my audience.
Shout
That's
and
right,
preach
Dawn.
as soon as
Like
you can.
now, I'll do whatever I like. I'll keep talking because it's my audience and my show, and I'll keep control of it. Thank you very much.
Did you know the other Globers are boycotting you?
I couldn't give two shits. Boycotting me. I'm raping their religion on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, in your mind you are. Yeah.
Who is? I haven't heard
They
of
all
this.
think you're retarded.
This
They
is
think
one
you're
of
a
the
full
nonsense
retard
days I
liar.
walked into.
Oh, they think I'm
I wouldn't
stupid,
call
do
that
they?
raping of any religion.
Oh, that's terribly
I'd call that
upsetting.
making a fucking fool of yourself.
Yeah, that's terribly upsetting that they think I'm stupid.
Oh no!
I haven't heard of this boycott.
It
it's
would
the
be
first
if you
time I
went
hear
out
this.
in
What's
public
going
and
on?
saw them, I think.
What are you
What's
talking
up,
about? I've been
Jose?
out in public talking about this subject loads. There's a whole playlist on my channel of where I've arranged meetups and
Would
met
you be
people.
able to come into Norwich and preaching your flat earth?
Norwich.
Yeah. I can send loads of people down for you to rape their religion.
Do
To
it
meet
on a
you.
show for the public. It's been. What are you talking about? There's almost 200 people watching right now.
No, I'm saying live. You could come to
This
Norwich
is live.
and say this to people's face.
Yeah,
and
live.
Try and
It's
rape
called
their
live.
religion.
It's called live when 200 people are watching at this moment. That's called live, you idiot.
I mean face to face. You know what I mean?
Oh, face to face.
I've done plenty of face-to-face
Nathan
meetings,
is so
Dawn.
good at
Your
raping
point's
religion.
falling
Why?
apart.
Because you
Yeah,
can't
face-to-face.
destroy his arguments online. You can't do that.
Doesn't Nathan
So you
dare
gotta
do this
what?
face to
You gotta
face?
meet him up face to face.
I
Show
got
how
an
much of a
interesting
man you
point.
are.
I said, see
I
if
got an
it's
interesting point.
upsetting
Don,
for
you
him
give me
to
a
be
chance.
called
I
retarded.
want
in
your
public.
opinion on this, Don. I want your opinion on this because you were talking about the gravity and the bending of space-time. I want to hear your opinion on this because to me personally, it's ridiculous and it's a globe explanation. So I'm gonna quote. It's just a small paragraph. All our lives, we have been taught to measure things in 3 dimensions, but Einstein adds a 4th. Wait for it. I'm scrolling there. All right. He says there is not only right and left, up and down, backward and forward, but also sooner and later, the 4th dimension, listen to this, without which nothing in the universe can be measured or described. This theory has opened an unlimited field for speculations, dreams, and fantasies. Let our imagination again carry us into space. I mentioned this to them, and they felt so compelled to come in and do an intervention with me and tell me all this. Like, no, but this is what it means. But it's just so telling that this is just the 4th dimension. This is the most compelling sentence, which nothing in the universe can be measured or described. What do you think about this, Don, when you hear these words?
To me, it's quite exoteric, but I think it could be an explanation of how mass
It's quite
moves in
nuanced,
space.
right, Don? It's quite nuanced.
It's kind of mystic and exoteric how he's explaining it, but I believe time does affect movement of mass in space. Why would it not?
Because it's a
our
concept.
measurement.
Because it's a
bend
concept.
Time.
It's a concept,
Can you
Dawn.
bend an inch? Can you bend a centimeter?
You can bend the fabric of space, apparently, in
So
this theory.
Dawn, like Like literally, you would rather believe that something is falling
What?
because Earth's
No, let me
mass
tell
is
you, I don't
bending
necessarily
time.
believe Einstein's theory. I just tell you that's the theory that people go by. I believe mass attracts mass because God made it that way. That's what I believe. I'm
But
not a
why do
scientist.
you believe that when that was a theory that was replaced by
Because
another
that's the
theory? So
phenomenon
why do you
that
choose
I
the
observe
old theory?
on a daily basis. That's the
He
phenomenon I
observes it on a
observe
daily
But
basis.
there's
Mass
no
attracting mass.
observation of that in real life. Where does mass
There
attract
is.
mass in reality, Don?
Mass of the Earth, big mass attracting little mass. Not just any
So-
mass being attracted to any mass. I make a leap of
So
faith
it's
that that's what
so
happens
it's
on a
just
big
things
scale.
fall down.
Oh no, hold
Except
on. He's just
that
made his
some
confession.
things go up.
Hold on, Chocolate. He just
Right?
said. He just said, "I take a leap of faith."
Yeah,
You
of course I
did?
do.
I didn't hear that.
Of course I do. That's
Right.
how we understand.
Zealot.
That's how
The
we
end-
understand things. We take
no,
in
I
information.
don't,
that
I
we're
don't
happy
actually
with.
class that.
We stop
Sorry,
our
go on.
research if there's too much more information we're not interested in. Then we make a leap of faith and decide what to believe.
No, that's fair enough. I wouldn't call that zealotry.
No,
He's
human is the word, not
I'm
fundy
backing
zealot.
you, Dawn. That's not zealotry. That's him accepting that he's got a belief.
It's faith. It's
Faith.
trust.
Right, trust.
Understanding.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
These
it's
are great
called.
words. Here on Flat Earth Debate, we use words like science and empiricism.
Yeah, and you get
You
them wrong.
use words
every
like
time you use
faith and trust and belief. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and I
This is
use them
not a
those words
religious
honestly every time I
hangout,
use them.
Yeah, because it's a religion you have,
Okay,
Dawn.
but the thing is,
It's not a religion. No, I don't worship the heliocentric model.
You've got faith and belief.
if we're starting from the beginning,
It's a belief and trust
or
in cosmology model. That's all it is.
why would we need anything more than things fall down? I mean, we
Because
can't
some
measure
people
the
want to
Earth.
know
We
why.
haven't-
Some people want to know the reason why. Then maybe explain how the moon moves. How
Don't have
Earth
that, though.
rotates.
Right, but we
Your religion
can't-
doesn't have that.
Yeah, we'd have to reach the moon. We'd have to sample the Earth. We have to measure how big the Earth is. So it is a really big leap of faith to think that it's mass attracts mass as opposed to things fall down until
At
we
first
can
it is, yeah, but
measure
then
more.
after you do the science over 1,000 years, 2,000 years, and you work out there's a phenomenon and it accelerates like this, and this thing happens and that thing happens, then you invent vacuum chambers, you study it more, then you go into space, you study it more.
Well, then,
My
Don,
theory
why
is
does-
that
Eventually
there's
you get an
light.
understanding.
Anyway,
Hold on,
Find
hold
the
on,
magician
hold
and work
on.
the theory about.
Everyone in G+, just let Earth-Shaped Investigator and Dawn have the conversation for the now. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, with space and all that, even if you grant them that is space, it's been very disappointing that, what has NASA really done? They haven't even measured the distance to the sun properly. Have they really sent a probe around the sun?
I don't know about the probe. They do. People do claim to have measured the distance properly. Yeah, most people agree on that.
How have they measured that? I actually haven't looked into that myself, but how
Triangulation of other planets based on closer and closer celestial bodies, and an assumption of how the Earth's shaped.
How did you establish
Yeah,
the
but NASA
distance
should
to
have-
those
Hold on,
celestial
hold on,
bodies?
Arwin. Look, he knows his stuff, and he knows where the assumption is, and he's declaring it. So far, so good.
Everything's
Yeah.
based on an assumption before. You assume you were correct in your last understanding of the other thing. You add it into the next thing. You make little leaps of faith along the way. Everyone else does it. They come to the same conclusion. The leaps of faith get turned into knowledge. And then you teach
Yeah,
the
but
masses. The masses that can't do all of this themselves, they just stick with the leaps of faith and trust in clever people.
Yeah, but the leaps of faith and the chain of trust is really, it hasn't really benefited us, I mean, we've still got the guys in polo shirts flipping around in the so-called space station. Humans, I mean, even after the space shuttle, America hasn't been able to get up there. SpaceX keeps making promises.
I think
We
fair
haven't
enough.
drilled further than 8 miles.
It does cost a lot of money.
It's just
I
not good enough.
understand.
He's nearly there,
to me.
Dawn.
You're not-
Dawn,
That's the
he's
thing.
nearly there. Just let him make his conclusions.
Sorry, I can't
It's
finish.
just not good enough.
Yeah, I
That's why
understand.
I want to withdraw that faith from them, or withdraw any belief, because I don't know, they're just
You don't
they're
have
just
to have
falling
faith
short
in
of the mark.
NASA. Oh, he can't even hear me. Hello.
No, sorry, I was muted. Sorry, I was deafened. Sorry about that. Go on.
I just kept waiting for you to finish. Yeah, you cannot be satisfied in NASA agencies and think it costs too much money. They haven't really done what I'd like to do with the technology, even if it is real. Maybe some of it's a lie, but I mean, they're still doing it and still taking your money. And other people do believe in it. You don't have to abandon the whole cosmology from all astronomy just because you've lost faith in the presentation from the space agencies.
Disclaimer: Don doesn't represent me.
No. Dawn's doing an exceptionally good job of describing the reality of being on the globe side of the argument. He's describing the religion quite eloquently. How you have to put faith in their presuppositions. It's quite.
I'm not part of the. I don't. Some of the people on the globe model, they do worship the non-God, everything from nothing, cosmic accident. But most people just believe it as a structure and physical nature. They don't. It's not a religion. They don't worship the creation and how it is like that. So calling it religion only works for some people, really.
Based on belief, trust, and faith. What more do you want?
Yeah, but the religion definition needs a worship as well, and sometimes a church. But obviously, you can use Science Museum as a church.
Some of these people believe that they came from nothing.
Yeah,
a nothing that created an explosion that created everything.
That is religious. That's religious to me in the same way.
But that's the origins of the system. Whether or not you have the worship of the origins is irrelevant. Whether or not you worship the sun at the center of the system is irrelevant. It is a religion. It's based on faith.
You get faith-based system. I think religion is an extra word that you can only apply to people if they worship. I don't mind
removing it if it offends you. It is your faith. This is your faith. Like Christians have got faith. You have faith in the heliocentric model.
But I would say, sorry, I would argue that you have faith on your ideals about Earth as well, in the same way.
Which ideal would that be then?
But the abandonment of this one and everything that you replace it with.
What have I replaced it with?
Arguments you replace it with.
What's the replacement?
The observations.
Give me an example.
It's flat. That is a belief system and a religion.
It's not a belief system. It's obviously and observably flat.
I see it because it's there. These words are like dogma. This is your religion.
You see me saying I see something because it is there as dogma.
Yeah, that's the dogma of how you mock the other religion.
Let me get it straight. You say the abandonment of your religion is us being religious, and me saying I see something is dogma. Correct?
Yeah, I've got more examples.
No problem. Okay. Nobody with eyes, ears, or a brain, Dawn, will agree with you. But fine, I'm glad it's been nicely, concisely dedicated to air, apart from this bit where you're talking, of course, because I'm talking. So yes, I'm glad you've dedicated... That's still you starting to talk, isn't it, Dawn? You're not really that good with subtlety. I'm not being subtle, by the way, that was sarcasm. Please don't interrupt
You're doing
me,
awful, Don. You're doing awful, Don. And it's so awful that it's like really good, man.
Au contraire, Jose. He's doing exceptionally well. Ordinarily, most fundies who come here, which I've already said I don't class Dawn as one, he's not being a zealot. He's saying he accepts that it's his faith.
Do you want me to give another example of your dogmatic faith?
Not really. You haven't given me any examples. You've said, you say it's flat, and you saying you see something because it's there is dogmatic. No, it's just seeing things. That's just called. I call that vision. I call that vision.
And you don't want to hear any examples about yours.
Dawn, I call that vision. You call it dogma.
So we both think each other are religious.
No, I see something, and you say me pointing out that I see something is dogma because I haven't asserted that it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of, say, a lighthouse coming from beyond, an Earth curve that's been reified into existence with a begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. Because I don't do that, you say me just simply saying I see that lighthouse is dogma because it goes against your belief and faith.
All of that stuff you just said is dogma.
It's not dogma. I've pointed out that you reify a curve into the horizon that is apparent. You've done it twice on the show. And in so doing, you use a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator to assert that something I say I just see, in this instance say a lighthouse, is actually just a lighthouse. whereas you say it's a slightly looming, non-standard refraction high in a holographic projection of a lighthouse from beyond an Earth curve that you've reified from the horizon that's an apparent position using a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. Now, me saying I don't want to do that and just saying I see it, according to you, is dogma.
I don't say any of that. You made that up in a religious way about my religion. Like, it's fear mongering.
Not fear-mongering. You've explained how you believe the presuppositions that your priests gave you. You take your leap of faith, in your own words, put your trust in the people who are smarter than you, and what they have come up with is a reified Earth curve edge, otherwise known as the apparent position where the sky meets the ground, called the horizon. An apparent location, which they use as an actual location, claimed to be Earth's sphere edge. When using that sphere edge, they claim that anything in the distance beyond that diffraction limit, where in fact the limitations of your eye or any lens used to observe something can't resolve the data that it's seeing at that distance, they say that's actually the edge of a sphere, and things are disappearing behind it, based on mathematics that assume a radius that you've said that you're happy to take a leap of faith in that regard. Now, all of this crap is stuff you've just told us. I ignore all of it and just say I see a lighthouse. But that apparently is dogma.
90% of that is untrue.
What? Which bit? The begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, curve calculator that reifies the horizon into the leading edge of an Earth curve that you have taken an R value to will into existence using the mathematics and this apparent location. Now, that's absolutely 100% accurate and true. The calculator does hijack perspective and call it Earth curve, and it does use the apparent position where the sky meets the ground to be a reified edge of a sphere to claim that things are disappearing over, like you did with the not actual position of the sundawn.
No, this is not true.
That's absolutely true. You also are saying that when I don't say a lighthouse I can see is a slightly looming non-standard refraction high in a holographic projection of a lighthouse from beyond an Earth curve that's been reified into existence using a mathematic calculator that begs the question of an R value and turns an apparent position into a leading edge of a sphere. Because I don't say it's a hologram from beyond Earth curve, and I just say I see a lighthouse, you say I'm a dogmatist.
You just preached dogma round and round 3 times. I'm now going to leave. You're a lying cunt.
Okay, go on then. Leave. Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius?
No.
No.
No. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
No.
No.
I miss any, or is that the conclusion of the housekeeping?
I think that's it.
Well, that concludes the housekeeping.
Well, it's interesting that Don is still using Newtonian mass attracts mass, and I posted in Discourse Newton's statement that Anthony put up several times already, and I'm sure Don has seen, where Newton says, "Don't put that on me."
Just like to give Dawn credit where credit's due. There was a lot of different confessions from Dawn that were cognitively squared circles, if you will. He accepts that it's a belief, leap of faith, trusting those who are deemed more intelligent. All that stuff was just confessed by Dawn, and I give him kudos for it.
Actors and agents everywhere. Shout out to Pichet. Aristarchus.
Ah, Aristarchus. The originator of the sphere-Earth presupposition. Epic.
But the decapitated
So
tree.
Why do you think Dawn just accepts leaps of faith?
He justified it by saying those who are more intelligent that have worked it out on his behalf are trustworthy, as far as he's concerned. That was his justification.
He's conceded to not being able to figure it out himself.
He uses that as a way to, just be fanatical about his religion. and he's uncompromising. He that's the way I see it. It's a blind belief.
At least he admits it.
In order to maintain his religion.
Yeah, but he admits that.
That's zealotry.
It is zealotry, but by the same token, when I use the word zealotry, I'm talking about the people who won't accept it.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm probably incorrect.
Dawn has said numerous times that for him it's a belief. That's the only thing that I'll give him, other than a lot of the other ballers, is that he'll say that. It's a belief. I don't actually have any proof for it, but people smarter than me and the television and everything tells me that it is, and I choose to believe it because it's easier and it makes more sense to me. So that's the only reason I'll give Dawn, credit for what. But.
Well, it's a similar attitude to my wife in general, if I'm honest. That's the attitude she takes, almost identical.
Right. And I would assume it's like that for a lot of people. It's just easier to not even have these thoughts going in your head thinking about this flat earth shit. It's just easier. You watch TV, you see a ball, a spinning ball in a vacuum with water on it, and you choose to believe that that's your home. That's fine. That's not what you experience. So when people come up against this flat earth thing, I don't understand why it's such a travesty. Because it's not like you're actually experiencing this floating ball, magical water ball in a vacuum. You experience the Earth is flat and stationary. But it's the idea that something is being stolen from you, I think, is what bothers people. Now, what are they having stolen? I'm not sure, because, again, you don't experience that world that they show you in the movies. So for me, that's what's confusing.
Pride. That's what's being taken away. Nobody wants to think they've been tricked.
Yeah, you're right. Right about that.
On the other hand, if everyone took the same apathetic view as Dawn, it would only take the people in charge to say, well, actually, it's flat. And they go, oh, right, okay. That would be a take, Fortunately, not everyone.
Yeah, it would just be that easy. Because Don said it himself. He said it. If I saw it on television and the people that I trust, came out and told us it was flat, yeah, sure, it's flat.
I just want to congratulate you, Nathan, on perhaps the biggest ass whooping Dawn's ever received on today's show. That was
biggest what? Biggest what?
Ass whooping.
Yeah, he's not getting paid to come here to take an ass beating, nor do I want my blood pressure raising to the point that he raises it, in case you're about to worm that in, which I suspect you were.
No, not at all. But I was actually going to say that you actually destroyed him, so well done.
Sam Hine says, this super chat is brought to you by Mong Patrol. Well, I would like to say a big shout out to Mong Patrol for supporting the Sam Hine super chat. Thank you very much for your support.
Shout out to Mong Patrol.
Final thoughts from me. I gotta get out of here. Thank you. I'm proud of myself that I didn't come in like a dick today. I didn't come in like a dick today. I was alright. I came in for the audio because a little better than YouTube. And thank you, Nathan, for not yelling at me.
Before you go, Jose, you got a bit of kudos the other day just before you drop. So we were discussing you in terms of the benefits that you offer with your show. So that was being discussed, and we were saying, I know you've just come in and said I'm not being a dick, but we were saying kind of, it's a shame he's a bit of a dick occasionally, because it'd be nice to support Jose, but he's a bit of a dick. But there you go, just so you know. You were very nice today. Thank you, Jose. It's been a pleasure having you.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, I had a little time.
Take it easy.
A little time today, so I decided to come in the hangout. Better audio for you.
It's lovely having you, Jose. Thank you.
Right, I'm ready.
Can I throw something in before you guys, before the live show ends?
Yeah, of course you can.
I guess you can see my screen. I won't play it, but I'll share it in the Discord if they want it. But
sorry, just before we start, can you make it full screen?
Oh, yeah, okay, hang on. This is a guy that's putting pretty much a flat, empty, Ziploc bag into a vacuum chamber. Now, we would all agree that the Ziploc bag has mass or weight, so to speak. I'm not defining mass. I'm just trying to use the rhetoric. Inside here, there's very, very, very little gas, obviously, inside this Ziploc bag. Okay, what do you guys think will happen when he puts the starts to put a vacuum in this?
I would imagine
in this chamber. What'll happen?
If it's well sealed, the remaining gas that is in the Ziploc bag, although it appears to be empty, would want to expand, right?
Right. Well, here I'll jump straight to that point.
Yeah.
So he pretty much Now we got the Ziploc bag that has mass that should be being pulled on by so-called gravity. You have the particles inside of that bag that's also affected by gravity. But it seems like the kinetic energy inside the gas overcomes those two things. Would you agree?
I'm following you so
It seems like the gas is trying to fill the available volume.
Right.
Right.
That's a lot of expansion there. A lot.
Exactly. So
Incredible.
So I mean, yeah, there's very little gas in there, but it's enough to. It doesn't pop. I don't think it pops. I don't think it goes to that point, but you can see. Oh, I see. Where's it at? That's pretty much full expansion. So there's very little gas, and it completely expands to fill that Ziploc bag, take it to its full volume. So if mass is attracting mass, so to speak, shouldn't the heavy bag overcome the mass of the gas particles, so to speak?
Mass doesn't attract mass.
Wouldn't you think so?
Gravity's not a force.
I know.
Even if it was, it wouldn't be overcoming entropy.
Exactly. Okay.
And either way, gas isn't going to be affected by gravity, even if it was real.
Almost took the words out of my mouth. Chocolate, precisely.
I just thought this was interesting because I was actually, I don't know if you guys saw that I shared the spacesuit, and actually Buzz Aldrin or Armstrong. I'm sorry, is it Armstrong or Buzz? I can't remember which one it was. But has a zipper in his crotch, and I did do a little bit more digging.
One of those vacuum seal zippers.
Exactly. And somebody told me that it's like a Ziploc bag. I'll say, okay, well, here's a Ziploc bag. It is containing pressure, but there's very little gas pressure in there. Well, the suit itself would have to maintain a 14.7 psi the atmosphere inside the suit. So I would think that the zipper might rupture or seal or leak or something. And obviously, being in your crotch, that's the most. If you're walking, that would be the most friction sealing.
No. It's waterproof. That's all they needed.
It's waterproof. Okay.
What waterproof zippers?
Right.
Maybe it's both. I mean, they were NASA. They were fresh in '69. Maybe they had waterproof and vacuum-proof zippers.
But yeah, I mean, my pants. I wear my pants out like wearing them all the time. They tend to wear out in the crotch. The zipper for using the bathroom and all that stuff is in the crotch, and that would be the one place on the whole suit where a seal would be hard to maintain. You would think.
Based on this, Paul, Buzz Aldrin would look like Michelin Man.
Well, that's another issue altogether. Yeah, but yeah. That's all. Comments, queries are welcome after this point. I know the show's about to end.
The guys in the ISS, they wear diapers when they're doing their spacewalks.
Well, and I did look that up. They do. There was this adhesive bag that the Apollo astronauts would have to stick on their butt, and they would have to stick their finger. They literally would have to stick their finger into that to get the poop to come off of their butt, and then put it in the bag. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Look it up. It's not. This is not. I mean, literally, it's crazy.
Science, baby.
It's hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So he had to stick his finger up his butt to get his poop out.
Yeah, you didn't need to reiterate it, Paul. Thank you.
That's got to be the crappiest defense I've ever heard.
Dirty job. Somebody got to do it.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this and not entirely repulsed, then stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, probably for the best. This is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. A massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, well, sort of, apart from the ending, for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Ugh, what an ending.
Dirty job of space, Nathan.
Yeah, then no, it's not. That's just lies. Keep people entertained.
I mean, you know, it's the narrative, right? It's the current paradigm. So everybody should be comfortable talking about a little bit of space poop. I mean, why not?
Because it's gross. Because it's gross, and they're making up stories about how, you know, the toilet functions of spacemen happen when they're not going to Narnia. It's just nonsense.
Yeah.
So, Ranty, what's on the agenda for the roundtable after this Uncut and After show finishes for the Nathan Oakley audience?
Oh, hello. Am I still?
Yeah, we hear you.
Right. Okay. So for tonight we have Sleeping Warrior debating Professor Phil Bell. Apparently he's some kind of Indian scientist that works for the government over there, apparently. And apparently he's got a lot of credentials and he's very up on his knowledge. So he's going to be taking Sleeping Warrior apparently to task on gravity and other things. So that'll be at 11 p.m. BST.
Yeah, right.
Cool. So that's, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley, which you are, premiering stream, then that'll be in a little over 40 minutes time over on Ranty Flat Earth channel. If I'm in the chat, which I should be, I'll spam the link to his show. Don't leave yet because it hasn't started yet. But when this when this premiering stream ends, Ranty Flat Earth show starts at 11 p.m. UK time.
Thanks for the plug, Nath.
My pleasure. I'm glad we've got a schedule together that's like coherent enough that I can know to plug you at a given time, or know to ask you what's going on your show, because it's going out at a particular time, Monday to Thursday.
Well, yeah, I mean, tonight it might have just been a normal, everyday chit-chat sort of show, but Professor Phil Bell, apparently, who he is, said to me, specifically in the chat, he called out Tony and wanted to debate him, so he emailed me, so apparently it's all going down. He sent me his credentials. He seems to be who he says he is, so we shall see.
Excellent. Well, I'll definitely tune into that.
Yeah, it's. I think if it is who I expect it is, and etc. He knows what he said he knows. Sleeping Warrior will be in for he'll be in for quite the debate. Apparently, we'll see. Hello. Anybody there?
Yeah.
What do you think about the debate between Toady and Sleeping Warrior, Ranty?
Sorry, say again. Hello.
What did you think about the debate between Toady and Tony?
It's still unresolved, isn't it? It's you guys hear me? I think Toady needs to come back with some more evidence, which he admitted to yesterday. So as it stood, Tony won that particular debate yesterday.
Yeah, well, didn't you think it was interesting that the first question about the first.
Sorry, you keep breaking up. Hello? Is it me?
He's not left you with enough to lead you. He said, didn't you think it was interesting that the first question, and then he broke up, so you've not got enough really to go on.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Chocolate.
Yeah, you keep breaking up, Chucky.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
On. Is that better?
Yeah, didn't you think it was interesting that the first question...
Yeah, the first question about the first citation that Toady brought out on Riley when he wanted to establish that an age could be an independent variable, and Toady didn't really have a response to that. He was like, wait a minute, I'll have to come back and have a think about it, which sure, I think is fair, but I mean, it's the first citation that he brought out. It's the first example he tried to use where, using age as an independent variable, and Toady didn't really think about that. And to me, I was just like, wait, well, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. How do you manipulate somebody's age for an experiment? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's not like you can turn back time, is it?
Right. And he was very big on the whole time, like along with age. They need things like time and age to be able to be manipulated, but they can't be. So I don't know. It's very weird. And then he thought he had something on Riley when he brought up scientific law, which Riley was telling him there's really no such thing as a scientific law. There are laws of nature, but the laws of nature don't get put through scientific method. That's why the laws of nature.
Yeah, that's why I don't trust anything from Wikipedia, because anything can be edited. Firstly, and his citation was from Wikipedia, so I think I'll look into that though, because it's possible that the citation itself was manipulated in some way.
Right. Well, it's that word "or" they're looking for now, right? See, they don't like when Riley points out that it's observation and experiment. They don't like that. But when they see when they do have a citation that says observation or experiment, they want to hold on to that. You see how much they want to let go of the actual experiment part? They just want observation to be scientific. Just look at stuff and I'm doing science. Yay. That's what they want, man. They avoid it like the plague.
What Dawn said earlier. He said, I've got a phenomena, even though in that particular instance his phenomena was the bending of a concept, space-time. But he said, I've got a phenomena, therefore that's scientific evidence. Because exactly as you say, they just want something that they see to be declared as science. So I see a light in the sky. Anything I make up hereafter is science. Because I've got a phenomena, right? Therefore, no. Not at all. They don't have scientific evidence. And Dawn's like, well, what is required to give it scientific validity? Or what is scientific evidence? It's like, well, having a cause. Having an established cause. The very thing they say they haven't got. So they haven't got scientific evidence. They never will. But they want it to be scientific evidence. Their observations, that is.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. And it was almost like Toady felt like he had a gotcha on Riley. Like, ooh, look, it says observation or experiment, so we can get away with it. And it's just... and then Riley pulls out a citation that says theoretical physics, mean nothing without experimental tests. And he, again, avoided that like the plague. So, I mean, it's just game of science doesn't prove things. We can't, establish actual variables. It could be a invisible green pixie messing with your experiment. Therefore, an experiment can never be empirical. This type of, I don't know, it's insane to me.
Bullshit to justify their religion. deviation away from empirical science and a justification thereof because they've got a religion. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I have experienced Coriolis deviation as a sniper. I just wanted to say that.
Say that again.
I said I once experienced a Coriolis deviation.
You want to experience it?
Yeah, no, it was Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty.
What? God, this should be good.
Don't you guys remember? I think the mission was 1 shot, 1 kill.
I'm not a gamer,
to,
but I know what you're talking about, and now I know roughly what you're talking about. But yeah, are you saying there should be Coriolis in the game?
the guy in the game tells you that you need to account for Coriolis, but that's all he says. He doesn't say anything. He just says, "Okay, you have to account for the wind, and by the way, you need to account for Coriolis." But
I think
that's it. So you account for the wind, and the bullet. It looks like it looks like it curves because for some reason it's like a trace around. And it looks like it curves, and you either hit the guy or you miss the guy, but all you're really accounting for is the wind. That was just my Johnny Globehead moment.
But they say in the game that you have to account for Coriolis.
That's all he says. He says you need to account for it, but he doesn't explain anything further. He just leaves it there. So you just. I remember. I played the game ages ago, but I remember having to look up what the Coriolis effect was. It was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
That's why it was in there.
Whenever that game came out.
That's why it was there.
And I'm like, okay, it didn't make sense to me. Like why I needed to account for something that I was reading as a fictitious force, and I'm just like, all I accounted was for the wind on that shot in the game. It's all just a computer game at the end of the day, but they're sort of trying to reify
that right
it.
There is programming, my friend. They just put it
That's
in there
right, yeah.
so that
exactly.
you
I know.
could hear it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So, just out of interest,
They make you assume that the winds are there because of the spinning of the Earth underneath the air, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Same reason why they say it's in the field manual.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those little narrative points. Those little. It's like when they make a movie and they have to set the stage and have all the little props in the background and all the special effects and all that. It's the same thing. They put all these things, it's the programming, put it into the field manuals for a second that nobody sees, just so it's there. Just so that if we get to this point and somebody's saying, "Hey, where's the proof of Coriolis?" Oh, look, it's in the field manuals. Look, somebody mentioned it in a video game. Look, it's on Wiki. But where do we see this in reality? Nowhere. On a merry-go-round, sure, yeah, because that's actually rotating and moving, and you can actually see that effect there. Do we ever see this on Earth? Do we ever see planes? Do we ever look up and see a plane deviating from its actual course because we're rotating underneath? No, never. So it's all bullshit.
I also looked up the Coriolis effect definition on YouTube recently, and absolutely none of the videos that come up have the correct definition of the Coriolis effect. None of them. I found one that did. That was it. The rest, just complete gibberish, bullshit. A lot of them.
I think it's such an easy thing. I think it's so easy to have people confused by this.
Yeah, it must be that way. They must obfuscate and confuse with the explanation for what it is or what it isn't, or how it works or how it doesn't work, and you need multiple explanations that are all slightly off in one way or another to just confuse people, because it doesn't happen, but they're using it as though it does. They're saying Earth-based Coriolis proves it's spinning because you see things deviating in the air because you're rotating underneath on a spinning Earth. But you don't observe that effect, ever. So they have to make it up with things that have got a short hang time, like bullets, program us into it with wiki entries that just talk about Earth and talk about stupid things that are actually deviating, like hurricanes, to confuse you even further. In reality, it's a very simple effect of a ball deviating when you throw it from a roundabout because you continue to rotate underneath the ball. Well, that deviation is what's claimed to prove Earth's rotating underneath anything that leaves it. Because it's spinning, you see it deviate when it leaves the spinning frame of the Earth that doesn't spin in actuality, because we don't see anything deviate. You can throw a ball in the air and it just comes back to your hand. You can fire a cannon in the air and it'll just come back, sometimes hitting the cannon itself. You can fly a drone and the Earth doesn't spin underneath it. You can fly an aeroplane, it doesn't arrive in an hour and a half when travelling west to, say, LA from Charlotte, North Carolina. That doesn't happen because Earth isn't rotating underneath. So they've got to obfuscate it and mix it up with doublespeak and confusion.
I petition we change the name to Coriolis Illusion. That
It
may
is an
make
illusion.
it easier to understand.
Well, that would be correct.
Yeah, but
it's an apparent force.
That's actually how they describe it.
It is an illusion.
In
The
Kosho's
illusion.
very citation, it's described as an illusion.
The illusion is that
It's like a rainbow.
Well, no, not like a rainbow, because the illusion is you're on a roundabout, a park fairground type, one that you manually spin, and you can put a little X on the bottom of the roundabout and put a drone on it, and then spin it. And then all you do is you standing on the ground, not on the roundabout. So you're sat on a park bench watching the roundabout spin, and you watch the drone sat on the roundabout spinning with the roundabout. So it's attached to the rotational frame. Now on your remote control, you just push the up stick, and the drone from where you're watching, from wherever it was when you started pushing up, just goes up into the air. And from your position, looking at the roundabout and the drone stays precisely where it is. It's just hovering above something rotating beneath it. So from your position, it's just staying static in the air. Doesn't move up, doesn't move down, doesn't move left. It's not actually moving. Now what you then do is you walk over, so you put your remote control down and leave the drone hovering where it is. Yeah, every one rotation, the X that it left goes underneath it. So the drone's hovering and the roundabout spinning. You stop the roundabout and get on it and then start it spinning again. And what happens is, from your position as you look at the drone, it looks like the drone's flying towards you and flying away from you, and flying towards you and flying away from you. Now, it's not. We all know it because you've seen it. It's static in its position. It's not moving. So you thinking it's flying towards you is the apparent deviation, because it's not actually flying towards you. You're rotating underneath. So hence, the reason they use Coriolis to prove Earth spinning is because the effect is caused by them claiming the Earth spins underneath a bullet, a ball, a drone, a helicopter, an aeroplane. But those things are where it falls to pieces, because they've got a longer hang time, and you should see a much greater or exemplified version of that deviation. So where on the roundabout you're seeing the drone seem to come towards you and then go away from you as you rotate underneath, on Earth what should happen if it was spinning underneath is the same thing. You put an X on the ground, you put a drone on it, and you push the up stick. Well, it just goes into the air. But like when you were on the spinning roundabout, you're still on the spinning Earth, and even though you've only pushed the up stick, it seems to drift away from you. But it's not really drifting away from you, you're spinning away from it on the Earth that's claimed to spin. But that never happens. You can push a drone on the up stick, it'll go up, but for the wind, it'll come back down exactly where it launched from. The Earth's not spinning underneath a drone, not spinning underneath a helicopter, and if it was spinning underneath a plane, from west to east, then travelling west, you'd have the continent or the location you were travelling to come towards you. But that obviously doesn't happen. We don't have shortened flight times. So the deviation's really simple. It's the thing being in a frame of reference that is unaffected by the spinning frame underneath. And if you're on the spinning frame underneath, it looks like that whatever it is in the inertial reference frame is deviating, when in reality it's not. The drone's not moving, it just seems like it's flying towards you. So the seeming like bit is the not actual bit. But it doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't still see your drone drift away from you if the Earth was spinning. It would definitely do so if the Earth span underneath that drone. But it does not happen.
Over.
Indeed.
I think he may have fallen asleep or something.
Oh, gee, thanks, Arwin.
No, it was an excellent explanation, but it just took too long and he wasn't listening.
Maybe.
Who are you explaining that to?
The audience.
Oh.
Anybody who doesn't understand it yet.
I was listening to the whole thing. If you're talking to me, but I definitely understand the Coriolis effect.
I think Arwin was assuming you were a fundy stunned to silence when you and I knew otherwise, Unicorn.
Really?
Yep, my mistake.
All right.
I came in a little late.
No worries.
So, are you going to Amsterdam, Ranty? Do you know? I'm booking my ticket today.
Yeah, I already got a ticket a long time
not
ago.
you, Ranty. You're already there, pretty much.
Right, I'm not Ranty. That's correct.
No, you're definitely not Ranty. Yeah, I'm going to try and make it, yeah.
Excellent. So you can hand your camera over to Arwin.
Indeed, it can be filmed.
Excellent. Hopefully I'll be the one to film that.
The handoff. Nice.
Have you blown all the sand out of it?
Sorry?
You've blown all the sand out?
No, it comes with sand and it comes with sea salt too, so it's just awesome. I mean, a bit of Blackpool sand there for Arwin, he's going to love it.
Got sand in the camera. We're not even joking either.
Well, as long as it's not in between the lenses, I'm fine.
No, it's just around the lenses and the handle.
Right.
The controls.
Arwin, are you near water, Arwin?
Near a river. Yeah.
So you're gonna focus more on celestial objects like the moon and shit, or
Indeed.
You're gonna
But also,
are you gonna go out?
Well, I can pretty much look pretty far here since I have access to a roof. And I can look over the woods. I can even see buildings into the distance. So, yeah, so the kind of things I could do from here without having to go anywhere.
But have you got a means of getting around? Have you got a push bike or anything?
Sorry?
Have you got a push bike or anything?
A push bike? What?
Yeah, a bicycle.
Yeah, bicycle. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, bicycle. Yeah, sure.
So you can get around and show us your general surroundings then.
Yeah, my hope is that he's going to leave the flat. Not just stand on the balcony and take pictures. Go around your location and show us where you live and stuff.
Yeah, I'd hope the
Go
same.
to the edge, Arwin. Go to the edge.
Okay.
Well, can you see the edge? The arbitrary position where the sky meets the ground.
Yeah, sure.
You can get a horizon from
Go to the horizon.
I think I can in certain spots.
Cool. I mean, that's all you need, man. You're set. I just hope we get to see... It's just nice to see other parts of the world. And obviously, while it might seem mundane to you, you live there, it's fascinating to others, especially if it's pretty. Or you can get some flat earth proof out of it. That would be even better.
Well, if I am going out to enjoy nature and everything, I will probably be taking my P900 with me then.
I'd hope so. Excellent.
Because there's already been plenty of occasions where I was thinking damn, I wish I could make a really good photograph of this. So
I think it'll up your game on your show as well. Having something to discuss, having imagery, I think will really up your, the quality of your show.
Right. I certainly hope so.
Yeah, we all do. It's awful.
Yeah, you would just want to get away from me sitting in this room here constantly.
There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you've actually built up quite a good audience just being you, which is, you're an interesting person, so that makes sense. But by the same token, I think you've got more potential, and having a piece of equipment that's quite expensive, admittedly, to do so will definitely up your game, just providing you use it. That's what Ranty's driving at, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I will. I
Yeah,
definitely will.
it'd be nice to actually see
At least for the
sort of
moon
like daily
footage and
pictures.
everything.
Say again, Ranty?
It'd be nice to
Yeah,
nice to
imagine-
see like a 5-minute slideshow each day, you know, just of a few different things. You don't have to go out every day, but you could go out like on one particular day and you could film for an hour or so, and then you can put some different images up through your presentation throughout the day. That'd be pretty cool.
Imagine how cool the moon's gonna look after you smoke a few spliffs.
And the moon as well, yeah. What's interesting, I bet, is it raining where you are, Owen?
Well,
Or
not
overcast?
right now.
Huh?
Not right now.
Not even overcast now?
Yeah, a little.
Because every single time you go live and you say, oh, the weather's this, the weather's that, it's exactly the same where I am. Every single time.
Very close, though, isn't he?
Yeah, it is.
Not really.
Oh,
It's
we're
what, 400,
roughly in the
500
same
miles away?
weather system.
I was going to say, we're close enough to be in the same weather.
Possibly.
At any event, yeah, it'd be nice to just see some imagery.
Wait, so all you guys gonna be in Amsterdam?
It looks like it. I haven't asked Anthony yet. Although, well, I have asked Anthony. He just hasn't said whether or not he will be. But hopefully Ranty will be. Certainly Arwin will be. I'm booking my tickets today.
Are we gonna do a live on
Live side of the date.
with a live panel? Are you gonna be there as well, Jody?
Oh, wow, that would be pretty cool, actually, to do a live debate.
I wish I could, man. When is it? I can't go.
Is it 3 weeks
I
or
got
2 weeks?
work.
27th, weekend of the 27th. This month.
It's the 28th, right? Or
Yeah.
was it the 21st?
No,
No,
it's-
28th.
you're right, Owen. It's on the 28th. I think it's just the event itself is only a day, as far as I'm aware. It's on the Saturday.
No, there's Friday evening. There's like a campfire thing, a meetup thing, and camping and everything. And then the 28th is when all the real presentations are. I think up.
Oh, hang on, it's the 28th. Oh, I can definitely go then.
Oh, excellent.
You told me it was the 25th. You told me it was the 25th, Nath.
I was wrong. I just
you
guessed
were.
when I didn't have a calendar in front of me. I just guessed the day roughly to that weekend. So my bad.
Well, I've booked a sort of like a little break at this lodge with a jacuzzi and everything. It's like from the 23rd to the 27th. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fly out from York or around Yorkshire, find a plane, but now if it's the 28th, yeah, I can definitely go.
Oh, excellent.
Right, okay, yeah, I'll be there then.
Cool. Well, there'll be quite a few people from what I understand, but it's become a bit more of a laid back affair rather than the Kidderminster affair, which is obviously more presentations, and it's over a couple of days, whereas the Amsterdam one's been pared back a little bit as far as I'm aware. That said, there's all of us going, so I think it should still be a laugh, and in many ways I kind of prefer that.
Is this the same event where they've scheduled you to debate somebody?
That was originally
Or is
the plan
that-
about 8 months ago, but that didn't come to fruition. So I'm still going, but I haven't actually got any purpose of being there, which is actually quite nice. I don't have to do anything.
Right. That's cool, man.
Will there be shows that period?
I'm almost certain one of us will live stream something that's going on. So if you want to call that a show, I'm sure that there'll be something to watch, if that's what you mean.
10-4.
There just won't be any live debates.
Is there another show, Nath?
No, I've got Spanish. About, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. For anyone new here, that means a lesson for my child, a Spanish lesson for my child.
I was going to make a smutty joke then, but I'll refrain from doing it.
That's why I thought, Yuri, I better get a disclaimer in just in case. What that actually means. It's term time. Nice having Jose on acting normal and pointing out nonsense rather than defending it.
Yeah, it was actually. I was quite surprised. He was. Maybe he's going back to the flat. Who knows?
Yeah, he pulled out a citation on Dawn. That was pretty funny. Explain the space-time crap.
Right.
That's awesome.
Well, I think that Jose is also maybe getting a little sick of being a baller swamp. Like, I tried to get in there the other day, and they were just so terribly rumpusing. Like, Rumpus was rumpusing, and all the others were like support rumpusing him. And I just couldn't get anything in between. They were just continually talking on and on about satellites and all these presuppositional things that are supposedly out there. Just and
I
maybe Jose
literally
is
lose
getting kind
brain
of
cells
sick of it
listening
as
to those
well.
guys.
Well, I think just Jose is maybe getting kind of sick of it as well.
Well, it's possible that he's like, because he has his own show, doesn't he? He's done what, maybe 100 shows or 150 shows. So he's heard all their arguments, and maybe he's just thinking to himself, I'm not convinced, actually. I know I said I was a Glober now, but, maybe not.
Right. That's another way of approaching it, yeah.
I mean, that's how he sounded today. He sounded today like this gravity shit that you're talking about, Don. What is this space-time bending? What I mean, really.
Right.
And it's like they refuse to accept that. This is what I love about Riley. They hate Riley for it, but Riley is trying to get them on point. Like, look, this is your science.
Mm-hmm.
How are you just denying when they tell you that gravity is not a force anymore? The same people who told you it is a force are now telling you it's not a force and that it's something else, and you just refuse to accept that.
Right. Well, I've been trying to be fair. I was kind of the first one to point it out. Like, yeah, what is even gravity? What is that supposed to do? And I'm glad that everybody really went with it. And yeah, Riley went with it gloriously. I like it. Like the bending of space, because we've mentioned it. The bending of space.
If you listen to George Musser,
yeah, they made their silly little quote.
You dropped something and.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you keep cutting out there. Chucky.
I think he's only stepping on you, Ranty, because he can't hear you. He's thinking it's a gap because he's lost signal, and then he starts talking and then cuts out. So I don't think he's intentionally stepping on you.
Oh, no, don't say that. I just said he keeps cutting out.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Internet's acting funny.
But yeah, but we've been like, even from Quantum Eraser and from Nathan's side and all of us, we've been hammering on their head. Like, yeah, you're thinking Newtonian gravity, but Einsteinian gravity is official. But it kind of took a long time before we actually started to look at what that really means. And then I just noticed, like, what the hell is this Einsteinian gravity even? Yeah, bending of a conceptual medium, but I get that is what that is. What is supposed to be done, that is claimed to be gravity within it. But I just couldn't figure out, like, what is that actually doing in the physical world? How does it tie into that? And there's literally just no answer to it.
Right. It doesn't.
It was all you, Arwin. It was all you.
Well, no, it's just Arwin struggled with this cognitively for a while. He's like, well, the answer to it is, if you can't prove something in physical reality, invent a medium and have it take place there, because then you don't have to prove it. It doesn't relate to physical reality. Like Jose's rather good citation pointed out, talking about the magical and fantasy. Well, then you don't have to prove it anymore. So how does it relate to the physical world? It doesn't. That's the reality.
Right. And even after I stopped defending gravity and went on the relative density tour, figuring that one out, I still didn't even realize yet that Einsteinian gravity literally didn't do anything with gravity. Rather, that whole process was taking away of Newtonian gravity and literally giving nothing in its stead. And that's really a bizarre realization when I really got that.
Yeah, because you think there's some substance to Einstein.
People like George Musser try to clean it up and tell you that, everything that falls right? That's the citation that Riley's been reading, right? That everything that falls, your glass, your phone, when it falls, it's because Earth's mass bends time. That's literally what they're telling you. Everything that falls is being caused because of that.
By time.
Yeah, by the bending of time. And
what-
as a matter of fact, according to that citation that Riley was reading, if I remember correctly, it's more so because of time than because of space.
Oh,
So what the hell is that?
Isn't it?
And how does time create force or displacement of matter? I just can't puzzle it together, and I really wanna.
You just don't understand
won't
it.
fit.
Well, I still get it. I get it, Arwin, because typically you're looking for, and normally you ask for monetary compensation for it, but you're like, I can square this circle. Well, this is something that you will never cognitively square the circle of a non-existent conceptual medium bending and how that relates to a physical world, because it does not. So, I can see how this might be cognitively painful for you now, having argued about it a bit with you.
It's just a bizarre realization that I just relied upon a lot of explanations that seemed to make a lot of sense. And that it was pretty vast, and that even being relatively smart, I'd say, I still couldn't at that point just see that it was just a lot worse than I even thought.
Hey, and you know how they try to fix it up with things like, the two clocks run differently at the top of the Eiffel Tower and at the bottom. It's like, that's because of time, or it's because of the clocks, or whatever the hell the function is going on in those clocks. You're gonna say it's because of time. I mean, nonsense.
The only thing time does is just go forward and let other things happen. I don't see how time, which can only, theoretically only be stopped or moved forward or faster forward, whatever, if you're even going to presuppose that that's possible, then how does that actually separately do something without utilizing something that's already there? It doesn't work. It's mechanically impossible. Even if you presuppose all that.
And don't they say when they try to look at this, they're looking at black holes and how light bends around them, and then I think I heard one time they did this with the sun. Like they looked at how the light was bending around the sun. Like it's
but then
nonsense.
Another
man.
gravity actually causes that bending within the space-time. See? So it's not the cause of it. The unspoken
What do you mean another gravity?
The unspoken of believed in gravity is actually the cause
Where was the
of
first
the bending
gravity?
of space-time, according to them. It's so insane. But do you see it? They completely switched it around. What they're actually thinking is gravity, which they haven't even really defined officially anymore, is the cause of the bending of space-time causing black holes. It's not the bending of space-time causes gravity, because there is just no possible way that could mechanically work. But they don't even notice this. It's just sloppily painted together, and it just sounds techno-babbly. It's insane.
Sounds like Star Trek, man. That's what it sounds like. Put in the warp drive, spend some time, and you get where you're going fast.
I actually know an astrophysicist who claims that we don't know what gravity is. So.
Yeah, so do we. He's called George Musa.
Yeah, that's what they all say. None of them say they know what gravity is.
Right, because they don't.
You know,
but they know it must be there, or their
no,
fantasy
not at
can
all.
work. They just don't know what it is yet, and why it even must be there anymore. But they still believe that it must be there in order for their fantasy to work, but they just don't know how anymore, really. It's really confusing to be a Glober.
That was the thing that used to confuse me the most about this model, right? Or this model that they claim they have. All these balls, right? flying around each other, orbiting each other, right? And there's some force that's supposed to be inside these things causing this. I mean, I don't know.
I was always trying
It's
to.
very imaginative, but when I break it down in reality, in my head, I don't know. It makes no sense.
I was always
How
trying to
are
mimic
all
what-
these planets maintaining their orbits, and then they have their own moons maintaining orbits, and meanwhile they're all orbiting the sun, which is this giant gravity maker that's holding the entire solar system together. And it's like, what? I don't.
So, because we've timed this beautifully, in about, let me get it straight, 3 minutes from now, Ranty Flat Earth, providing he keeps his schedule, will start at 11 PM UK time over on Ranty Flat Earth channel. So be here or be sphere for Ranty's Roundtable, which is starting live in about 3 minutes time. Do you want to give it a quick plug, Ranty? You're on mute at the moment.
Yeah, sure. So Sleeping Warrior will be debating a guy from India who's apparently some kind of scientist to do with satellites, and apparently he's got connections in the government, etc., etc. So that should be quite interesting. Let's see how that pans out.
Cool, and that's at 11 PM on Ranty Flat Earth channel.
It is, yeah, 11 PM BST, London time.
Perfect. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Again, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. Be sure to check out Ranty Flat Earth and the Flat Earth Roundtable, which is starting in a couple of minutes over on Ranty Flat Earth. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!